Hi, everyone. We are back to live. I'm Alfredo again. We are here with Devin Rossiter from Kern Q, and he has got a super interesting story about what inspired his talk that's going to be on Saturday. But because it's interesting, it has some layers. I'm going to let him tell it. Go ahead, Devin.
Thanks a lot, Alfredo. Yeah, great to be back at Current Q. I've been here several times. We've got a session coming up on Saturday called Quizification. Now, the topic is called the joy and craft of engaging formative questioning, which is a roundabout way to say, how do we make more interesting questions for engaging activities with our students?
Right.
There's a lot of conversation around gamification, and there's a lot of great structures out there, but if the questions aren't enough of a hook, then it doesn't matter the format of the game. It's still 5 times 7. It's very straightforward. It doesn't really draw as many in. 3 years ago, I got the call from Culver City to be a contestant on Jeopardy.
Jeopardy.
And
How'd it go?
It was great. It was a wonderful experience. I was one of Alex Trebek's final contestants.
Okay.
I was able to come away with 2 victories, over
Nice.
$54,000 walking away. Great day. A lot of tremendous experiences. Got to interact with a lot of tremendously professional television coordinators that informed a lot about how to be in that type of environment. One of my main takeaways coming from teaching, working with Bakersfield City School District for 10 years, was the structure and the format of how the game operated. These people have been doing this for 40 years or so.
Right.
So they know how to keep the ship moving. They know how to write questions, not just for the 3 people at the podiums, but for everybody watching at home.
For the audience.
And if we think about that routine, same time, 5 nights a week, every night for how many years or so, with the same intonation, the reader, the background, but also ways that they structure the questions so that we at home watching have a way to enter into these questions, which are really difficult.
Tough. Yeah, Fred, the questions are tough. The content is tough, but we're still, those of us who may not know all that are still watching every day.
Exactly. And it's not just to pick up something we didn't know, but there's a lot of critical thinking going on in deciphering a clue, looking for that in so that there is a lower floor for more people involved. So through my time on Jeopardy, all of a sudden I was brought into something I didn't even know existed called the trivia sphere.
Okay.
So there are all of these world-class level trivia competitions throughout the globe that are constantly running. And if you can think of top names that you've seen on game shows or are familiar with on trivia level competitions, these people are there. And so all of a sudden,
in the trivia sphere.
This is a real thing. There are conferences for trivia events. There are ongoing events through Zoom. There are websites that are dedicated where people compete every day. It's part of the routine. And so being able to go through that lens, I'm able to now bring some of the formats that are there to educators. And we're going to share a lot of that on Saturday. We're going to play a couple of rounds.
12:10?
Saturday, 11:10 to 12.
11:10 to 12.
Yes.
What room do you know?
We'll be in Renaissance at the Pueblo room.
Okay. Very cool. What were some other insights that you got besides this, how to write the questions, or what's an interesting story from being on Jeopardy?
So one of the things that they don't always prepare you for, and this is something that you don't get to see when you're watching on TV, it looks like these people are fast at signaling in. And that's one of the things that I ended up studying more than actual content preparing for the show. So there's a mechanism in place where you cannot signal in until the host has finished reading the clue.
Okay.
There's somebody behind the scenes. As soon as they're done, they flip a switch, and on the board, there are a string of lights on each side. You don't see those watching at home, but once those go on, that's your cue to signal in that your device is unlocked. Because if you signal in too early, you get locked out.
Oh,
so you can't just start spamming that. You got to wait. You have to time it out and be patient. And I actually got coached on how to time that out better, because during rehearsal, I started signaling in way too late. I wasn't able to get in on questions, because if you can't signal in, it doesn't matter. No. So getting coached through that process of coming up with my own solution, of practicing it out, of being prepared for the next opportunity, and then having a follow-up in case that didn't work, was very eye-opening, especially as an academic coach myself, to see this is the kind of support we need to provide teachers with. The opportunity to reflect cognitively, come up with a strategy you can try, monitor that strategy in practice, and then repeat that cycle on reflection.
So would you say then, as a teacher, you encourage us to give students more or less time to respond? Did you find that your first guess is really? We hear that all the time, right? Your first guess is
Right.
probably the best guess.
Yeah, and
Do Jeopardy contestants follow that philosophy?
I think one of the things that I wasn't anticipating was signaling in, but then giving myself time to think. Because you do have a little bit of a timer on that podium, but it's still enough time to process through that you at least give yourself a shot if you're close.
All right, and then just to wrap it up here, and I don't want to give too much away from your session, would you say that we can take any content and if we ask the questions the right way, we could make it at least more engaging for the students?
The whole point of an engaging formative question is to give students an opportunity to formulate a way into the knowledge that we want to bring them, and to think critically about how to get there if it's not immediately there. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some of those strategies during our session, ways to make the questions more accessible for students to develop those practices in an experience.
11:10 a.m. on Saturday morning. Devin Rossiter, we appreciate you being here. We encourage everyone to go check that out. Thanks for being at Spring Q and for all you do.
Thanks for your time, Alfredo.
We'll see you guys back here real soon here at Q Live. Thank you.